All right, I'm back with another video. I know I've been out for a little bit. I was on vacation, but I'll be back now. Came back to some awesome volatility, so that's great to see. Let's go over a bunch of things. First thing I want to go over the S&P volatility. I want to go over how to trade in this environment as well. I want to go over what I'm looking for in Bitcoin, what I'm looking for in stocks as well. I think those probably present some more interesting opportunities right now. I also want to go over some altcoins I'm looking at, and then, yeah, we'll kind of wrap up the video. So first things first, on the open tomorrow, I will actually probably be looking for longs. Um, the reason is when we get these high volatility events like this, sentiment and stuff like that can get really blown out. And it's not even that the long-term trend is going to continue down. I just think maybe tomorrow we get a reversal after we get this huge sell-off like this. Now, I definitely could be wrong, and we open and we just continue to crater. But we have these kind of levels I've been watching. This is going to be an old quarterly VWAP, an old yearly VWAP. We're coming into this like yearly value area high here. And again, I'm not as big on these indicators and the ES. On the ES, I'm mostly watching the options flows, but it's been so thin, there hasn't been a lot of edge there recently. So kind of what I've been using. Basically, it's coming into our zone, right? And if you go out to like the weekly and the monthly, I think it was the monthly, you can also see this was like the start, kind of that expansion candle, right? The start of this move. So, this is the area I'm looking for a bounce personally. Um, so what will I be looking for tomorrow? Honestly, probably just some spy calls or something like that, maybe 2 months out. I won't be holding them for 2 months. I'll just be holding them for the kind of short relief rally. If you've ever watched the George Soros interview, I definitely recommend you guys watch it when he is talking about shorting the 2008 crash and how you guys get some insane volatility. So basically, it's just not going to be straight down. And almost, it can be. It just almost never is. It'll go down, it'll go up. We just don't normally get literally straight down unless it's something like COVID or something like that. So that's kind of my plan tomorrow at the open. I definitely could be wrong, and we just keep cratering. I'll just get out for a loss. Is what it is. I think the risk reward is good for me. Also, we have these indicators from Goldman Sachs I was reading over the weekend. So the U.S. equity sentiment indicator, you guys can see how low it is. It's at negative 2.5. And then the 2-week forward returns based on sentiment indicator level. This is basically like a 70% chance that we're going to have positive returns the next 2 weeks after we hit that terrible sentiment level. So, the risk reward for me is there. It's at a good technical level. Sentiment's terrible. I mean, and I think sentiment's so bad. If Trump even just comes out and negotiates a couple things, we could get a face ripping rally, and this whole thing like gets evaporated. But I don't know if he's going to do that. There's a lot of headline risk and stuff, so I'm just going to play that for tomorrow. How I'm looking at Bitcoin, something I really do want to touch on. People keep saying, "Oh, it's decoupling." It mostly just lags. Um, Even I had me fooled. I'm like, oh wow, it's holding up so well, and then of course, we always almost follow the T triple Q. The correlation is crazy high, so it decouples sometimes, but mostly it follows tech. And what is Segment doing? It's been selling off like crazy. If you look at any of the tech stocks, they have been absolutely nuking. So it was just you just had to give Bitcoin a little bit of time, and then excuse me, we saw the sell off. So if you see people saying it's decoupling, it might be. I think Bitcoin normally ends to bottom faster than the ES, but normally what happens is we'll get a sell off or something in the ES, and then Bitcoin will hold up, and then it'll be like, oh wow, it's holding up so strong, and then we'll get the sell off in Bitcoin anyways. So it ends up not mattering that much. Anyways, levels I'm watching. Let's go through this real fast. So let's go on the daily real fast. One level Kind of the macro level I'm watching will be this kind of 64, 65K area, this kind of point of control, this previous yearly VWAP, something around here. Um, this out, something here, just a rough estimate. If we get some real capitulation, that would actually be nice. Right now, it's really slow, controlled selling, which I've talked about a lot on my channel. When we have slow, controlled selling like this, very orderly, very looking like someone is just stepping in front of limits or stepping inside of price, excuse me, and walking it down. That's what you don't want to see. We also see the premium getting very bad, which is not good. Basically just the per premium. When it gets red like this and it gets very overextended, it does become like a counter signal to go long, but right now it's not too bad, but it is negative, which isn't good. You want to see a blue, basically Coinbase leading, which would be spot normally. Normally that's what you want to see for a healthy move. Okay, what am I looking for in Bitcoin? I, I kind of want to go long Bitcoin, but I'm remaining patient. Let's remove all the clutter here and you guys can kind of see what we're talking about. So I have this anchored VWAP from the high, basically the Trump tariff announcement, and we're not anywhere close to it. And even just eyeball this level, right? We have this high volume node. This is kind of the edge with this obvious support resistance line. That's going to be probably some support resistance when we come back into it. Maybe the VWAP will slope back down like this. Let's look at the monthly VWAP. That's kind of useless right now. Let's check this out. Yeah, this level is pretty big. So it's a level I would definitely have marked down in your charts. Um, what you can do, right? If we do get a bounce tomorrow in the S&P, I would from the bottom I would draw an anchored VWAP. Let's say this is the bottom. Who knows? Let's say that's the bottom. So you're gonna have two anchored VWAPs. I would be looking for the anchored VWAP off the bottom to hold. You want to be kind of above it, above the 1 standard deviation would be even better. And then when you come back up into here, into these kind of single prints, you want to see them getting filled initially. So this is going to be another big level right here. These single prints, let me actually mark them out on my chart. This is going to be single. And then what we could have this basically fill up. I mean, if you could get a fill up into this last kind of consolidation area to 82, I don't think it'd go that far, but you could get a nice little trade. I'd probably take a trade. Maybe from about 80 to 81, something like that. Let's see, it'd give you, yeah, about 1.5%. And then watch it, maybe take off 50, 75%. Um, yeah, that's probably my plan. Another plan I've been thinking about is when we get down here, we could see an open where we swing failure pattern, which is basically just you wick that low and you come back above it on the bottom here. That's another thing I'm watching. And like an obvious level you want to have on your chart is going to be this old previous all-time high. But I've talked about this on my channel a lot. When you have these obvious levels like this, they normally either get front ran or they completely do not hold at all and you just get obliterated. So, we kind of already tapped that 76, 77 area I was watching. So, I mean, the next area for me, if we blow past this, I mean, we'll see, right? We're still just filling out this low volume area. It really depends on what stocks do. You can't really say much until you get a clear direction in stocks and with the headline risk. So I'm mostly going to be scalping. I'm not taking any big swing intraday trades. The scalping on altcoins has been good. Just watch out. The liquidity has been pretty low. That's kind of my plan. watch for a swing failure pattern at this level. Um, if we do get another dip, I mean, around daily ATR, maybe I'll be a buyer. Let's see how it looks. I mean, you don't really have any levels around there. You just gonna have this like low volume nothingness. So we'll see. Um, Mostly I'm just scalping. That's my plan. So nothing fancy. I'm also be scalping. If this slow price action continues on Bitcoin, I probably won't even trade it that much. I think again the S&P might have some better plays. So that's what I'll be looking at. The order book depth does look good though. So if you look on the daily, I just kind of made this line so I could see the past instances when it's gotten this deep and what we've done. It looks good, right? The order book depth actually does look really good right now around this level. So if the S&P can get a rally tomorrow, that's what I'm talking about the longs more. It's kind of confluent with the order flow, but I mean, it's been green at this level here, and we nuked. So it's not the end all be all, trust me. It's just another confluence level. This is on the daily. Let's go to maybe the 4 hour so you guys can see it better. So on the 4 hour, let's blow this up a little bit. Okay, so I mean, it does look good, right? But just keep in mind what can happen. You know, it can be high and we can still nuke. It's not an end all be all here, here. So that's all. Um, but it does look good for a reversal. You know, I mean, if you're looking for longs, the bottom of this range is where you're looking. You know, near the lows. You're not looking. You know, up here. So another intraday play I'll be looking for is kind of like this previous day VWAP here and around the daily open. If you can get a kind of flip of the daily open 78, some good price action, I think you get some relief, at least some open interest coming off, stuff like that. All right, that's kind of that. On the alts, I've been trading. Actually, I think, yeah, Farcoin's been really good. The volatility's been great. I mean, all you guys really need to go down to like the 3 minute and just trade these swings around the daily VWAP and the weekly and monthly VWAP. You guys can see how strong it's been. It's been crazy good to trade this thing. And you get these crazy swings. You get like a 10% swing and it comes back and it's a 7% swing. And you don't need much size. You can go in with not a lot. You can get some good trades. I've been trading this a bunch, just using my indicators and kind of the relative volume and the open interest. You guys can see we had a bunch of open interest and people are shorting into the lows, and we got some relief. And then you can basically get in here. You trade up to the VWAP. Simple trades like that. So I'm trading Fartcoin. Another thing I've been trading is Solana. Not so much since it nuked. Yeah, Solana just looks awful. Good thing I sold my spot. This thing is just looking trash. Um, Again, we were talking about this way back. We filled this. It's breaking out of this multi-month range, basically since 2024, like March 2024. It's breaking out of that. So just be safe. These things, you know, they tend to last a little bit. They don't just, you know, reverse right away. ETH, I mean, it's at a level I would be interested in bidding, but I mean, holy crap, this thing is just I just don't know why you would trade ETH. You might as well just trade stocks. That's kind of my thing. XRP has actually been holding up fantastic. On the TRDR as well, this is before it reset on the day with the 50 million filter, but it has been showing insane spot bid on Coinbase. So this is actually something I'm looking to long if we do get a bottom around this, you know, kind of value area low, you know, range low area, somewhere down here. Other than that, the only other coin I have been trading, so I've been intraday trading Solana, Fartcoin, and I've been intraday trading Hype. I do want to go over it though. Again, guys, this is that like listing curse that I've been talking about. It's not even a curse, but we get the listing, we get a markup, we get the initial range, and then it nukes down, and we're going to find a floor eventually. And I do think this is when you are going to want to bid once we find this range that it puts in, and then you kind of get in once it breaks out. So I'm not one to pick bottoms. I'm not a picker. You know, if hype dies, it dies. I'm not in it anymore, but it is something to have on your radar. This thing can move a lot as well, and it it is actually pretty good for intraday trading. It respects the VWAPs pretty well. You guys can see the bounces off the VWAPs. What it hype what seems like what it likes to do is it'll put in like these little micro ranges, and then it'll kind of break down or break up. It's kind of what I've noticed a lot. You guys can see it here. So it'll like break down, micro range, break down again, micro range, break up. So just something to note. Probably the way they are providing liquidity on that one. Other than that, I'm staying out of it. Again, I'm looking for calls tomorrow on the ES. Other than that, I'll probably be flat. I'll be intraday trading Bitcoin. Again, I want to get long tomorrow, I think. But guys, I can't predict the future. If Trump comes out and nukes something or says something, yeah, it doesn't matter what I think. We're going to nuke. So other than that, the last thing I want to go over is how to be trading in these conditions. You can make a crap load of money in conditions like these intraday trading. So definitely be glued to the screens. I think this is a time where you really need to be paying attention. You also might get some generational entries on stuff like the S&P, gold, Bitcoin, you know, stuff that you want to hold for the long term. So definitely be paying attention for stuff like that. Another thing, you want to reduce your position size. I know it sounds corny. Oh, wow, you can make all this money. You want to reduce your position size because liquidity will dry up. You won't be able to either get in or get out with as much size as you normally would. So definitely do that. And when volatility increases, you don't need as much size to make that kind of money. So I really think decrease your position size. You should do a bit better. Anyways, that's kind of my plan for tomorrow. Again, this daily open level I'm watching. I'm looking for long or calls tomorrow. Um, you know, maybe weekly, maybe monthly calls. I'll see kind of how I feel in the morning. We'll watch the overnight price action. But that is kind of what I'm doing based on the sentiment we've seen, based on kind of the ebb and flow. I do think we're going to have a bounce. That's my bet. If we don't, I'll just get out for a loss, but I'm going to put my neck on the line on this one. And the only thing I mentioned again, the order book does look good, but it's not the end all be all. We can still nuke a bit with it being green. So stay safe out there, guys. Remember, there's a lot of opportunities in stuff like this. So make sure you're paying attention. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments.